Europe, a beautiful place full of diversity in languages, culture and architecture, but also a place where the desire for learning is never ending. With one of the best universities in the world, I don't think that Europe gets enough credit on here. And hey, as a European myself, I thought that I may fix that. So I'm gonna throw in here some fun facts about studying medicine in Europe. Hi everybody and welcome back to the Premed journal. I am Maria, a 17-year-old Premed, and here I share my journey with talking all things academic. So if you wanna hear more from me, make sure to subscribe. And to make everything clear, in this video I'm going to talk about the European Union and not Europe as a continent. So without further ado, let's get started. Comparing a bit with the United States, we kind of have a different system in the sense that we don't have this whole thing with 4 years of college, then med school. Usually students go from high school directly into university and med school. Europe is formed by a variety of countries with different systems and cultures. So let's say you come from abroad. What are some countries and universities that you should know about? So let's do a quick rating. Best medical schools: the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, Heidelberg University in Germany, and University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Best countries to study in academic-wise are Germany, the Netherlands, and Italy. Countries with the best social life are Spain, the Netherlands, and Italy. And finally, the cheapest countries to study med school in are Poland, Romania and Bulgaria. Now that I did this rating, we're going to dive deeper into what are the requirements for you to study medicine in Europe. And as I mentioned before, Europe is formed of a variety of countries with languages and different systems, so I cannot cover them in detail in this video. So I chose 4 countries that embody Western, Southern, Northern and Eastern European, which are Germany, the Netherlands, Romania and Italy. For each country, I'm going to cover the following questions. What are the grades that you should have? Are there any entrance exams? What are the language requirements? And can you later on work in the US, UK or Canada? Okay, I'm going to start with Germany. To study in Germany for international students, you will need the grades between 90 and 100. There is a shortage of spots and there is a highly requested degree. And for some programs, you will need to take the TMS, which is the test for medical school. There are very few universities that have programs in English for medical school, and one of them is the University of Târgu Mureș in Hamburg, UMCH, and that is not exactly a public German university. Rather than that, it is a private Romanian university that has these branches located in Germany. Rather than that, if you want to study at the public German university, you will need to have at least a C1 in German to take all of your exams. We will continue with the Netherlands. To study medicine in the Netherlands as an international student, you will need to take biology and chemistry, which are mandatory, and optional, you can also take math and physics, and you need to have really high grades in those subjects. And if you don't have this in your portfolio, some university will ask you to take a test made especially for you that show them if you master those subjects or not. Before, there was a bachelor's degree or program taught in English for medical schools in Maastricht University, but currently it has been discontinued. So if you want to study medicine in the Netherlands, you'll have to learn Dutch. We will continue with Italy. From what I researched, grades aren't a big deal in Italy. What is a big deal is the IMAT exam, which are the medical exam for international students. You have to know subjects like math, physics, biology, chemistry, and combining all of this with logical reasoning. You can take English programs in Italy, and by the time you register, you will need a B2 in English, and I researched that it's also recommended to have at least a B1 or a B2 in Italian, because even though the program and what you do in the university is not taught in Italian, you will have practices in the hospital where you will need to speak Italian. The last country I'm going to talk about is Romania. For you to enter medicine school in Romania, it's really important to have really high grades in biology and chemistry. You could also have a background of thinking maths and physics that could put you ahead. And some university may require you to take an exam like the Carol Davila University in Bucharest, but it's not really common. Also, Romania offers programs taught in English, Romanian and French, and you will need to have a B2 in your chosen language. And the last question that I didn't answer is, can you later on work in US, UK or Canada? The short answer is yes, but let's dive deeper. And if you don't mind me, I'm going to read off my laptop because the names for these exams are really long and complicated. So, for the United States, you will need an Educational Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates, which is a verification process to make sure your medical school and degree are recognized. Then you will need the United States Medical Licensing Examination. Is a 3-step exam: basic sciences, anatomy, psychology and pathology, clinical knowledge, a practical part when you deal with patient scenarios, and test if you can apply all in real life with medical practices. And lastly, for the US, you will need the National Resident Matching Program, which is after exams you apply for residency programs and the system basically matches you with a specialty and a university. For Canada, you will need the Medical Council of Canada qualifying examination, which is formed in 2 parts. Part 1 is a written, multiple choice, short answer on medicine, surgery, pediatrics and psychiatry, and Part 2 is a clinical exam where you interact with standardized patients. Then you have the National Assessment Collaboration Examination, which is you rotate through different stations and demonstrate clinical skills. And lastly is the Canadian Resident Matching Service. Like in the US, you apply to register residency and they are going to match you with the program. And for the UK, you will need to apply for the UK's General Medical Council, which is to practice you need approval from this council, so you just apply with all your portfolio and they're going to give you a yes or no. I also found this, that is the PLAB, Professional and Linguistic Assessment Board exam, which is required for international grads, and it's a multiple choice covering their diagnosis and also a clinical exam. So these are the things that you are going to need to apply to residency in UK, Canada and the US if you finish university in Europe. And with that being said, that was the video, and a quick disclaimer before I turn off the camera. This is made for mainly entertainment and to give you an idea of what studying medicine in Europe looks like. But if you really want to go to medicine in Europe, I am not a counselor, not a professional, so I advise you to talk with someone that really has experience in that and that can help you. So with that being said, that was me, and bye!